Welcome back to my podcast. Welcome back to Review by Top Shelf Tammie. That's me, where I recommend books for you guys to read. So I am super excited about this episode. As I told you guys before, the bigger the smell when the episode come on, you already know I'm gonna have some juicy stuff for you. Okay, so this episode is going to be different. It is the first of its kind, and this episode is called the Cheat Sheet. So, what I am doing today is I'm going to give you guys a breakdown and a quick summary, and I'm going to rank the books that we have read so far in order from least to favorite. So, yes, if you are new and you are just joining us, jump on this episode, the cheat sheet. I'm going to catch you up. Now, I still would love for you guys to go back and watch, previous episodes just so you could see what I ranked the books, what my opinions was, and see if you guys think the same thing, right? But nevertheless, we're going to jump right in because that's what we do around here. We discuss books and books only. So it ain't no hold up, right? Okay, so jumping right into the cheat sheet episode. As I mentioned before, we are going to rank the books from least favorite to my most favorite. And so far, we have did 11 books. So, starting out at number 11. Book number 11, which was my least favorite. And I'm going to tell you why once I give you the title. So, yes, this was my least favorite book. And this book was The Brazzi Family, A Dark Mafia Romance by Trattoria C. Oh, so we just did this book. This was actually last episode. So this book was my least favorite book of the 11 that we have read so far because, as I explained before, it just had a lot of toxic behavior that the author kind of romanticized as dark romance. I didn't care for it. I gave this book a 3.5. It is a part one and it's a part two. As I mentioned before, I read part one, and part one actually read as a standalone. When I went to do the review for you guys, I realized it was a part two. So I did the review, and then I told you guys I was going to read part two. When I started part two, the author didn't address some of my concerns from book one, which I thought she was going to do, maybe like character development that make me feel a little bit more comfortable with moving forward in part two book. Because I'm one of those people, I believe if you don't address a problem with a person, how do they grow, right? So the same thing goes for the book. If we don't address the characters which was Navy, if we don't address his bad behavior and see the growth in him, then it's bound to happen in book two. And as I mentioned before, it was toxic, bad behavior, romanticized. I don't want to see that again. So again, I gave this book a 3.5. It was the least favorite of the 11 books we did so far. As I also mentioned before, I have spoke to people who read this book and they liked it, part one and part two. The trigger warnings, they were there. You would have to probably visit the last episode to see what those trigger warnings are. It is a couple of trigger warnings. It was a little too deep for me. It was a little too dark for me. So yeah, I'm good on that one. Moving on because I want to get to the good juicy stuff. We're not gonna spend too long on the ones I didn't care for. So moving on, number 10 is Dark Hunger Vampire Romance by Melanie Lynch. And I rated this book 3 stars. Okay. So if you guys have been here from the beginning, then you know what this book is. Okay. So a quick summary of this book. We own it. It was Jackie. And Jackie was the only main character in this book. And Jackie's boyfriend was like a bum, a scrub, just all red flags, 6 flags, red flags. And he wanted her to go on a robbery with him to go rob this guy's house. Turned out the guy was a vampire, right? The plot thickens. and it did. But it also fell short. So that's why this book got 3 stars to me. It started out really great. It held my attention to the end, but when the book was done, I had too many unanswered questions with the storyline and the plot. So I could not get this book 5 stars. I wanted to so bad. And as I mentioned before in previous episodes, all this Arthur needed was maybe one or two more chapters from a different character, and it would have wrapped this story up very well. It was almost there. It was almost there to me, y'all, but it just didn't quite make it. So that came in at number 10. All right, guys, moving on because we're going to make this quick. All righty. Coming in at number 9 is Still in the Plug's Love by Aisha Don. All right, and I rated this book 4 stars. And I did enjoy this book. I did enjoy this book, and this book got 4 stars. The only reason it didn't get 5 stars, I think 5 stars to me means that the book is so rememberable and so rereadable. That's what's going to get 5 stars to me. Anything other than that, 4 stars mean it was a complete story. It was great. It answered all the questions. It held my attention. It was entertaining, but it just didn't have that reread capability to me. But this story was great. So this story was about Britt and Blake. They were sisters who had a very neglectful mom. Britt boyfriend ended up going to jail. She finds love with another inmate who was sexy. Y'all know Trez was my book babe. He was my book babe of this book. So yes, Arthur. What's your name? Alicia Don. Spinoff. Spinoff for Trez. I like Trez. Um, Absolutely read him some more of him. So back to the plot I was telling y'all about. So yes, Britt's sister Blake stole some money. Later on down the line, they discovered that the money was the plug's money. His name was Supreme. He was a little sexy. He was a country sexy. Trez to me was city boy sexy, and I like city boys. I'm from Chicago, so I like city boys. But yeah, nevertheless, back to the story. Blake find out that it's Supreme money down the line. Blah 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 blah. I'm not gonna tell you guys, but they fall in love and some stuff happened, and then yes, it was a great story. So again, I rated this book 4 stars. I recommend this book to you guys. Great story, right? All right. So moving on, we're gonna keep the flow going. Coming in at number 8 was The Billionaire's Wedding Guest by Black Lavish. This one was good. Y'all read this one, right? Y'all remember this one, right? Okay, cool. So again, I gave this book 4 stars only because again that 5 star to me is this book rereadable? Is this book like really something you would think about 5-6 years down the line? And it's not a bad thing, but it is definitely a good book to read. It was a standalone, so I will say that it was definitely a standalone, so you don't have to worry about double books or anything like that. So you get in, get out, good plane ride book. Yes. So the characters in this book, we had Kelly Stone, Angel, Brad, and Rebecca. Stone is the billionaire, and y'all remember he was a little cuckoo, but we had character development. By the end of the book, we had some character development. That's the I ain't gonna tell y'all. Oh, maybe I will. Yes, Stone was a psychopath a little bit, right? He was a psychopath, but by the end, he didn't commit that last murder, and I feel like the Arthur was able to um sweeten him up in our eyes to make him like, okay, he's a good guy. He developed a little bit. He not as psycho no more, right? So by the end, we fell in love with Stone. By the end, Kelly and Stone fell in love with each other. This is also the book. I didn't give you guys the spoiler And I'm trying to see if I should give it to you now. But you remember her best friend had a secret? And I'm not gonna give it to you guys because if you guys are watching the cheat sheet, I don't want to give all of it away, but I'll give some of the plot away. Yeah, her best friend had a secret, and it was a weird old secret. It's still a weird old secret to me, and it's just like, why, or whatever. So okay, so again, this book was The Billionaire's Wedding Guest. Kelly was Stone's wedding guest, unintentionally, and then they find love. This book I gave a 4-star rating. This book, like I said, was very much entertaining, and it was a cute love story. I stand alone, to the point, entertaining. So yes, this book I definitely recommend you guys read. Loved it. Alrighty. Coming in at number 7 is When It's Real by Nicole R. Jackson. All right. And again, this book got another 4 stars. It was very entertaining. It answered all of our questions. It was a complete story. I don't remember if it was a standalone. I believe it's 2 books, but that's okay. It was a really good story. This story, our main characters were Baby and Face. And what you guys gonna like about this one? The sex scenes was off the chain. The sex was off the chain, baby. Okay. So just a real quick summary of this book. Baby and Face, they met by accident, but the catch 22 of this one was Baby was in a relationship with her guy who was locked up in jail. So she had been, celibate, not having sex. So when she got a hold of Face, it went down in Chinatown. Okay. Like, so that was more so what was very memorable, hot and steamy about this book. Very great sex scenes. It was a great story. It was entertaining from the beginning to the end. From the beginning to the end, yes, it was very entertaining. So yes, I definitely recommend this book. Absolutely. So great story. You know what? And I'm not gonna make this one too long because it's not too long. It's just Baby and Face. Um, and that's it. So yeah, that's it. I recommend this book to you guys. I hope you enjoy it. Alrighty, guys, moving on. Coming in at number 6 is Stealing the Pastor's Daughter by Edwina Ford. Y'all know I love this book. Okay. So y'all know I love this book by now. This book was one of the books that I put on host favorite, which was my introductory podcast episodes. So y'all know I love this book. I gave this book a 4.5. And if you have watched the rest of the podcast, the 0.5 came off because this story is not completed. This author has been writing this book for a very long time, for a couple of years now, and we have all been on pins and needles waiting on this book to be finished. I still love this story for what it's given so far, that I gave it a 4.5. So y'all know the story has to be good, right? The things that really jumps out and make me love this book was actually the supernatural element. I told you guys when I started reading this book, I didn't think it was going to be a supernatural element, but it did, and then it gave you some nice history. It gave a lot. Um, and I'm not going to hold it against the author that the story is not finished yet, because as I mentioned before, a lot of times when you're doing supernatural books, it's hard to come up with the story because it's so original and it's so unique, and you have to make sure your facts and your story and it all makes sense for us readers. So I'm not going to hold anything with just that 0.5. I'm just gonna hold that little 0.5 against her. But other than that, I have given this book a 4.5. I love this book. Like I said, it was one of my favorites. So the main characters in this book is Gator and Mackenzie. Mackenzie is the pastor's daughter, and Gator is the one that's stealing her. And of course, the theme of all the books, they fall in love. But along the way is some challenges. It is a book one and it's a book two. Book one, she's a little bit younger. Book two, she is an adult. And you got to read this book. Y'all got to read this book. You got to read this book because when Arthur do come out with book three, I will be back to discuss that. So at that time, I would love for all of us to be on the same page when that book comes out. Like, we're waiting. You got to read this book. I recommend this book. I love this book. So, again, Still in the Pastor's Daughter by Edwina Ford. I give it a 4.5, and I recommend this book to you guys, right? Okay. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. We're going to keep it short, sweet, and simple today. Alrighty, guys. So coming in at number 5. Coming in at number 5 is He Exposed Me to Real and Now I Hate Lames by Natavia. So as we get further down the list, the ratings, of course, are going to shoot up, right? Because we get to my favorites, the nitty of the gritty, the nitty gritty, right? Okay, so I gave this book a 4.5. I love this book. This book was a reread. I told you guys I originally read this book years ago. It stuck with me to the point where I reread it again. It was a great read, and then it was good enough to recommend to you guys. The 0.5 comes off because, as I told you guys, it was a lot of characters. It was 3 books. It could have been three different storylines, and it could have been maybe 2, 4, 6 books with 3 different stories in it, but she put it all together. And so that was just I guess that was just like where the 0.5 came off to me. It was a little bit much, I feel like, on the reread. Because I don't remember feeling like that the first time. Maybe because I knew the story and I was a little knowing the story and I was a little impatient that second time around. That's probably why I paid more attention to the length of the story. But other than that, like I said, this is a reread, and I could see myself reading this again. So she almost get that 5-star. As I mentioned, the books that get the 5-star is if you could read it again and still be entertained, still be in love with the book, and I got all of that. I got all of that from this book. So He Exposed Me to Real, and Now I Hate Lames. I recommend this book to you guys. Read this book. I love this book. All right, so let me give you the summary before I skip on to the next one. So the summary of this book, because again, we have a lot of characters. The summary of this book was Ashanta. If y'all was on my TikTok, then y'all see I did the little TikTok to her. But okay, so Ashanta was a doctor, and she was in this marriage, and her husband was like living a double life. He was just not who he portrayed himself to be, and he ended up being a lame. And He Exposed Me to Real, and I Hate Lames. He ended up being a lame. She ended up being Quenya. He was the real. He loved her. He poured into her. He did everything she needed. They fall in love, of course. They face some challenges, and I'm not going to give it all away, but that is one of the storylines in this book, and it was beautiful. And Quenya, book bay. He a book bay, okay? He a book bay. So y'all want to read this one? It's multiple book bays in this one. So moving on to that second storyline that I was just telling y'all about. The other storyline that we have in this book, we have Bishop and Desi. Just to give you a quick background of them, Desi is like currently when we start the book, she's a stripper, she's a schemer, she's a finesser, like all things bad, right? We have some character development as she falls in love with Bishop, and Bishop is book bay. He book bay, okay? He is What I just tell y'all, I like city boys. He like a city boy, right? He is just a little rough around the edges, but sweet when he needs to be. I wouldn't say he accepts her flaws and all, but with this couple, we get a lot of character development. And by the end, you love them. Okay. So, yeah, yeah. I'm not going to talk about the rest of the characters because I feel like they're a supporting cast. They going to cause some ruckus in the story. So, read it and see if y'all love this book just as much as me. So again, he exposed me to real and now I hate lames. Came in at number 5 with 4.5 stars. I recommend this book. Yes. Okay. Moving on. As coming in at number 5 is The Coldest Winter Ever by Sister Soldier. Alrighty, guys. So yes, this book comes in at number 4. This book was one of the hosts, which is me, favorites. It made that episode. I really, 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 really love this book. This book get 5 stars. Of course, right? This book get 5 stars. This book is like African American history to us. This book is 25 years old and I reread it and it still hit just as hard as it did when I originally read it. And I could see myself rereading this book again in 5 years. It has an important message in there for the youth. I feel like it's important because that message actually can relate to every generation. So, give you guys a quick summary of this book. This book was about Winter. She's a teenage girl. She faces life problems, life issues. And when I just said it's a generational book, it kind of shows that let's see, when kids or young adults are at a certain age, they kind of think they know everything, right? So we take this trip along with Winter and we just realize she don't. Baby girl do not know everything, but she thinks she do. And she just ends up finding herself in predicament after predicament after predicament. And it's like you want to jump in the book and save her, right? But again, we can't. It's a story with a great message. It's a story with a great message. I love this book. I recommend this book to you guys. I gave this book 5 stars. This was my second or third read of this book. It was the second. It was the second read of this book. And only why it was the second is because I do want to mention this book was not available electronically. I had to go to the library and actually get a paperback book of this book. So that was why I probably hadn't reread this book, just because it's a little actually hard to get. And it was actually not at every library in my area. I actually had to drive out the area to go find this book. But nevertheless, I reread it. It's a great book. The story still hit. The message still hit. I recommend this book to you guys if you have not read this book. The Coldest Winter Ever by Sister Soldier. I recommend you. And I gave this book 5 stars, guys. Yeah. All right. Moving on. Alrighty, guys. So coming in at number 3 was Doing the Unthinkable by Nicole Jackson. I want to say, did y'all read this book? Because I know this episode is the cheat sheet, right? But I hope some of y'all read this book already, because baby, did you read this book? I gave this book 5 stars. This was a reread. I will read this book again. I will probably I will probably read this book again next year, just because of the juiciness and the drama, the mess in this book is very attention holding, it's very entertaining. Getting right into the summary. This was a love triangle book. We had Yaya, We had Will and we had Romeo. We had one girl and two guys. And she was doing them both in one day. Ain't no other way to put it. It was scandalous. It was, we was living vicariously through her. We just was like eyes popped open. Like, girl. Not only was she sometimes having sex with both of them in the same day, she didn't know who the baby daddies was. She didn't know who the kids' daddies was. It was a mess, y'all. It was a mess. This was a good book. This was one of those books where it's just so outrageous. You know you can't do it, but you would love to read somebody else doing it. Right? So again, we live very vicariously through this character. I kind of gave it all away, but let me see if I can still give y'all a summary of this book a little bit. Yaya and Will were like high school teenage sweethearts. Will started to drop the ball a little bit. That left the door open for Romeo to kind of come in, put the pressure on Yaya to get him a chance so they could fall in love. But she was torn. She was very torn between the two. It was kind of that thing of, I think a lot of people kind of fall into like, I know I should probably move on to this new relationship, but I'm going to stay in my old relationship where I'm comfortable and I know what to expect from the person that I'm with. Because that new relationship scares you because you don't know this person. You don't know their habits, their traits, what they're capable of, but you know this person over here. You're settled, you're comfortable, and that's what it was. So she was torn between the two guys, and that led to her being with both. Shame, y'all. Shame, shame, shame. This book I recommend you guys. 5 stars. It was a reread. I actually didn't read it that long ago, so and I still was very entertained rereading it again. So I recommend this book to you guys to read. Doing the Unthinkable by Nicole Jackson, 5 stars. I recommend you. I recommend you. Absolutely. Absolutely. Alrighty, guys. So moving on. Alrighty, guys. Coming in at number 2 is I Think My Boyfriend is a Serial Killer by Kia Jones. I gave this book 5 stars, guys. This book was a sleeper to me. Like, I didn't think it was going to bring the heat the way that it brought the heat. This was not a reread. I think this book was a fresh read to me. No, 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 no. It was a reread. And it was a reread. And I did know what was going to happen. And I was entertained the first time. I was entertained the second time. This book got 5 stars because I will literally read this book again. This book was like a murder mystery comedy. So it's a little, I won't say scary, but it's a little mysterious. But the comedy and the funniness kind of keep you from being a little too scared, right? So this book was great. It's not a love story. It's a murder mystery. It's a murder mystery. So we don't get too much love in this one. Kind of, sorta, but that's not what it's about. And again, I Think My Boyfriend is a Serial Killer. We start out this book with our main character who is named Jackie, and she is like on a stakeout in the beginning of the book. Because word around town and all over the news, women are dying, and she has something in common with them. They look like her. They have her hair. They are her complexion. They dress similar to her, and they are turning up dead. So she is like, what the fuck is going on, right? So she like, it must be her boyfriend. So she goes on this grand plan to catch him if he is the killer. She enlists her best friend, Flame. He is gay. He is funny. It is great. It's like a great girl's tale, right? I'm trying to see if I should give it to y'all. How much I should give to y'all, because I still want y'all to read the book. Because if you're doing a cheat sheet episode, I don't want you to just cheat sheet and not read the book. So she goes on these stakeouts and she's doing these investigations, and then she finds out who the killer is. And we find out who the killer is. And I'm not gonna tell you. Nope, 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 nope. I'm not gonna tell you. I love this book. I recommend this book. Like I said, this book was a sleeper. I didn't think that out of all the books that this would have been one of the my favorites. It's number 2. This book completely surprised me. Kia Jones, girl, you did a great job. This book completely surprised me. It was great. It was entertaining. It was funny. It was a mystery. At the end, it wrapped up perfectly. It answers all your questions. You're not left in suspense about anything. It is a complete story. She did an amazing job on this book. I think my boyfriend is a serial killer by Kia Jones, the review. I recommend this book. Read this book. Read this book, y'all. Moving on to number 1. Alrighty, guys. Coming in at number 1. I don't think y'all keeping track, so y'all probably can't even tell what number 1 gonna be. But I'm gonna let you know what number 1 gonna be. So coming in at number 1 is That East Side Love by Lucinda John. I love this book. Y'all know I love this book. This book made the first episode, which was host favorites, and it has stood up and competed against 10 other books, and this book has came in at number 1, still as my favorite book. I have reread this book 3 times. When it first debuted, a couple years after that, and then I did it again for the podcast, and I didn't regret none of the reads. Like, I love this book. I gave it 5 stars because it hit every mark that I mentioned. It's a full story. It's entertaining. It's sexy. We got some book bays. It's able to be reread, and it's also memorable to me, right? So yes, this book is 5 stars. I love this book. I recommend this book to you guys. Read this book. Read this book. So just to give you guys a quick summary of this book. It's another love triangle, y'all. So, y'all already know what go down with love triangles. Yes, she was hopping from one penis to the other penis. Okay. Yep. I'm telling it. So, all right. So we have our lady love interest, Diamond. And then we have the 2 guys, which is going to be Bobby and Zoe. Diamond and Bobby are friends as teenagers. They go through some trials and tribulations. Eventually, they kind of hook up. And then they have some separation. And then enters Zoe. Zoe, as you can tell from the name, he is Haitian. He is sexy. He is book bae. He is a gangster. He is a killer. He is everything, y'all. He's everything. Okay. He's everything. Book bae, complete book bae. But he comes in and he just pours into Diamond and show her a softer side of being a woman. He nurtures her. Their relationship develop. And then they run into some issues, right? They run into some issues with their little relationship. And then Diamond get the hopping from one guy to the next side. So then, shame. Again, we living vicariously through these characters, right? Some stuff we can't do, but we're going to read them in these books, right? So yes, they eventually get it together and she end up with one of the guys. but the roller coaster ride to get there is crazy, y'all. Okay. So again, that Eastside Love by Lucinda John, I recommend this book, guys. Read this book. 5 stars. My favorite book. My favorite book in the world? I don't know, but it's a good one. It's but for right now, it may be. For right now, it may be. It may be. Alrighty, guys. So that is it. I'm not gonna hold you because y'all got some reading to do. Y'all got some reading to do. If y'all haven't been keeping up and reading so far, now y'all got the cheat sheet. Y'all got all the books. You got it all. One episode, you got some books. You got some homework to do. Again, this has been reviewed by Top Shelf Tammie. That's me. If you are watching on YouTube, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, don't forget to turn your notifications on. I have new episodes released every Thursday. I'm telling you, but if you turn your notifications on, then you just get the notification, right? If you guys would like to recommend me some books, or if you would like to give me your opinion or your review on any of the books that I have done, you can email me at ts_tammiepod@yahoo.com. If you are an author who would like your book or a poem read on the show, you can also email me at that same email address. Again, that's ts_tammiepod@yahoo.com. If you want to follow me on the socials, you can follow me on Instagram at topshelf_Tammie because I be lit. I'm just joking, but I do. Again, my IG is topshelf_Tammie. And if you want to follow me on TikTok, it's Top Shelf Tammie. Alrighty, guys, I'm not going to hold you because you got some reading to do. I'll see you next week. Bye.